Thank you all for coming to this event and supporting this yearly event that Val and Adam work so much for. Well, as you heard, I live in Denmark and I speak much better Danish than English. So it's sad. And I'm going to speak about this lady, which is our Mother Earth, and who is quite old, 4.5 billions she is. She spins around the sun with an amazing velocity of 30 kilometers per second. And you are, all of you and me, we are at this moment stand on her. We can, in fact, we cannot fall off. We are the whole time in contact with this earth. We come from her and we will go back from her. And everything we eat and enjoy comes from her and goes through us. So, this big being, in the words of a Danish philosopher, he would say she's alive, she's an organism, and he would say that we are the cells of this great organism. And it's not only Martinus, the Danish philosopher. I think David Attenborough also says that, and we will come later to that. We were not the first ones. In fact, we were the last ones to arrive, only 200,000 years ago. And it was not this way we look today, we look at that time. So there has been other, what you call it, prototypes of us before. But the first beings living here, they were so small so you couldn't see. They were one-celled beings, the bacteria. And it took the Earth 2 billion years to come up with the eukaryotes, those with a nucleus. So long time took the Earth to prepare everything for the next beings. And we have only been here for 200,000 years, so it has taken almost more than 4 billion years to prepare for us to come and enjoy. And yes, we are good at enjoying the environment and transforming and finding out of changing our surroundings. Our surroundings or everything on this earth is called the biosphere, and it is everything living on it, as you see. Birds, rivers, trees, forests, everything. Of all birds today on Earth, only 30% are wild. Can you imagine that? 70% are domesticated birds, which only live to become food for human beings. And of the mammal species, only 4% are wild. So human beings, the last arrived here on Earth, we are like changing a little bit on the biosphere. And it has gone more quickly. This development started really to rise to the degree we see today that's caused some harm to Earth after 1750. Because at that time, and it started, in fact, here in Great Britain, the Industrial Revolution came with the discovery of steam, promoting a more rapid form of transportation and the use of machines for working the soil and planting food. Then it really went very fast. All this technology went very fast and developed in such a degree that has brought us to this state today. The temperature, the middle temperature on Earth is rising, and it's causing a lot of problems in our environment with more extreme weather and floods and forest fires. This was in 2020 in Karachi, in Pakistan, but it's only one of them because today you see it's almost everywhere in all continents. These things are happening. Australia. And the last one we all know because we all here know someone from Brazil or we have family in Brazil and we know what happened in Rio Grande do Sul. So these are really big changes happening and we are not really prepared for that. It's coming so quickly. So scientists themselves are a little bit worried. They knew it would come if we didn't manage to get the temperature down, but they could not imagine it would go so fast. Well, cyclones and earthquakes and all kinds of catastrophes we have seen lately in the TV or in the news is due to the climate change. And this word climate change, I think we all now know by heart, and even our kids, I believe they are talking about the weather, right? The whole way up to the United Stations. So now it's a big thing, and they are trying finally to talk together all the countries and try to find a solution or a common way to deal with this. But during many years, they didn't want to listen to science. But scientists shout out all the time that this would happen and it can become even worse. So it's a little bit sad to think about this, but fortunately, we are spiritists. And we know that there is a reason for everything. We know one of the things that's a consequence is this displacement of people, the refugees that are forced to leave their countries because they can't find job. And so there is here a movement of people moving around the planet, crossing borders, and reaching other cultures. And it cannot be bad. It's just difficult now. But it has certainly will come, something good will come of it. Because destruction, it's a law of nature. Well, the spirits, they answer that what we call destruction in catastrophe is only a way of transform and renew and improve. I like this word very much. Living beings. So we are getting an upgrade. Everybody. Our bodies are getting upgraded. Our minds have to upgrade because we have to think differently. We have to use our intelligence, our creativity to cope with the situation. And it's required from all of us. Maybe the politicians have to implement policies, but we have to go out and execute and learn the new generation about this new way of living, new way of regarding the environment, birds, animals, trees, everything that is around us, the waters, because we are part of this system and we cannot harm one part of the system without harming ourselves at the end. So, action is needed, but in the words of Dalai Lama, I would say universal responsibility is needed. That's another word for love. I like the way Dalai Lama talks. Universal responsibility, because it's not about me and my country and my tribe anymore. Now it's about all of us, all together, because you can't fall off this planet. You are stuck to it, right? I have marked some countries here because I come from Denmark. As you see, I'm very proud of it. No one number 1, 2, and 3, but we are number 4. We are happy with it because it's the first number in the list, and it's Denmark. These are the countries that are dealing with this climate change and are doing something to be more prepared, but also to reduce the carbonic gas emission and to deal with plastic in nature and planting more forests. And number 6 is Portugal, which surprises me a lot. I don't know what they are doing, but they are doing something because these numbers come from an institution called the IPCC. And Great Britain is number 10. But it's still very good because Brazil is 23. And look at this. No pointing finger. I'm sorry. No pointing finger. But I think some people still have to see that they are part of humankind as well, right? So 11 countries in Europe are implementing a system that was created in Denmark with return of plastic bottles and glass bottles, and you get the money back when you deliver this. And well, what we are seeing is there is a kind of a market in Denmark for tourists, or very, let's say, poor tourists that come during the summer to Denmark for picking up all these bottles left in the streets or in waste bins. They pick them up, put them in a plastic bag, go to the supermarket and get some money back. So they are doing a huge work, let's say, emptying waste bins for the professional waste bin cleaners in Denmark. It has become kind of a job. You see a lot of them in Denmark because it really gives money, and it does something else. It is not out in the nature. It disappears. So the streets are clean. You walk in the streets or forests or at the beach, you see things disappear very quickly. Festivals, you can imagine a music festival, how much beer that people drink and soda and all those cans and flasks. So all this disappear because there is a market for this. And it demands a kind of changing habits. And we know that change habits is very difficult. That's why I don't like very much the intimate reform because we know how difficult it is. Change habits is difficult, yes. But it is necessary sometimes, and we have to exercise. And that's why we have to reincarnate. You know, you have to die. We die with our old beliefs, and then we get born again with new beliefs, because now you come with a fresher mind, a fresher brain, and then you are prepared to live in the new world. We are a newer generation, I would say, related to our parents and our grandparents. They lived in another way, and we live different. And our kids, they will do even more different. They have other ideas. The spirit Miramis, which is known of some Brazilian people, he says that the food we eat is no good for more evolved spirits. More evolved spirits are demanding another body, a body that's more that fits better the purpose of the incarnation, through which the soul better can work. So yes, so there are coming some spirits to improve man's diet. Have you ever wondered why so many kids are allergic to this, allergic to that, lactose intolerant and gluten intolerant? Yeah? Well, you are maybe the new generation that just arrived a little bit earlier, because it might be a sign that our system is changing. Our digestive system is changing. Givaldo says also that. So the new kids, they might be more vegetarian than meat eaters. Yes, or maybe it's not the right word to use, but sorry. But the signs of the time, I would say. Well, and it is difficult to change habits. I speak for myself, especially regarding food, because the bonds of matter are still too strong to allow the spirits to free from the things of earth. So, and that is from the gospel, if you want to find it. But small steps do also something. So we should not force ourselves to become angels from one day to another, because nature does not jump. But whatever we can do and whenever we can do it, will also be okay. You can see at the government levels, they are talking about planting more forests and using other methods for agriculture. In Denmark this week, the Novo Nordisk Foundation Center, the Novo Nordisk, I don't know if you know, is the big company that produces insulin and the new Wegovy, which is a success. I worked on Wegovy 25 years ago at the beginning of it. Novo Nordisk's Foundation Center has just donated a lot of money for support this project of finding new ways of agriculture, of planting food. So they say that the next years in Denmark, there will be a huge change in the landscape, because we are used to see the fields in the spring, popping up with corn or what you call whey or hops, canola. I don't know the name of this in English. Yes, rapes, and this is going to change, because they are going to research in more sustainable ways of producing food. But we, on the personal level, we can also do something. Maybe we can leave the car at home and walk or bike. We can think better of what we consume, if it's necessary, and what kind of water footprint does it leave in the environment? What kind of CO2 footprint there is in this product? Does it come the whole way from China, or things like this? But also reducing energy, saving energy at home would do it, and sort waste, for example. Yes, and I talked about changing habits, and the new generation, they don't have these old habits we have. And that's very nice, because in Genesis, in the 18th chapter, Arago, a spirit, he says that the new generation is the founder of the era of moral progress. So changes come with the young people or the newer people, because they are more to go into new things. We know we have all been young one day. I'm talking for myself because I'm old. So you know that young people, they dare new things. They think differently. And you all know maybe that the climate change movement mainly is driven by young people. Probably you have heard about her. She's from Sweden. Now we have had some Swedish examples here. And this kid impressed the whole world when she only as 13 years, I think 12, 13 years of age, she decided to strike from school for the climate. And she went and sat down in front of the parliament in Stockholm so they would listen to her. And soon all the other kids from school joined her. And after some months, kids in the whole world were striking on Friday for the climate. This started with a single person and not an adult, a child. That is very impressive. One of the new generation's examples. And it has given some result because last week, this is all new news I bring here. Last week, the Hawaiian state settled a lawsuit from youth over climate change. They, let's say, won over the state because Hawaii has promised these 13 teenagers that suited the state. Hawaii has promised them to change the public transportation in Hawaii from fossil fuel to a more sustainable kind of fuel before 2037. So teenagers, they have power also when they use them. And we all have. In the words of Victor Hugo, he says that now it's necessary to civilize men regarding animals, in relation to animals, because we are already more or less civilized towards each other, man to man. But man to animals, maybe we still have a way to go. And this is from Victor Hugo as a person. It's not as a spirit, but as a politician, because he was very into the social movement at that time when he lived in France. And maybe Charles knows more about Victor Hugo than I do. Well, the biosphere, this biodiversity, rivers, trees, animals, everything around us is very important, not only because it's beautiful for us or because we can enjoy them, but in the words of this another Swedish scientist, Johan Rockström, he says that this is nature. When you say biodiversity, let's call it nature. Is the very toolbox for our society to continue to exist. Without this environment outside, human species would not exist anymore. So it's hard words maybe to make us think about things so big, but that's because we are humans and we are Earth's own brain cells. It's up to humans to take a direction, to decide, to handle, to find solutions, because we are the more developed ones on Earth. So we are the thinking brain of Earth. And if you want to know more, I can invite you to see Breaking Boundaries documentary with Sir David Attenborough, who is amazing in this documentary, showing what science has found out of all these boundaries that we are crossing, and found out, well, where, how much farther can we go with this on planet Earth before it is reversible, before we cannot change it anymore. And we know love is the answer. Not only love for each other, for human beings, but love for everything we care about, all things, nature, animals. We know how a relationship between men and pets, I think someone talked about here today, has become. It's very important. So maybe we could extend this to all other animals around us and vegetation. And think also that we have also a living what you call biodiversity, biosphere inside us. Our brain is in a very huge part in the intestines, so says science. So we are like gods for these microscopic beings living inside us, which also have a destiny in nature. And with this, I say thank you for listening to me. Yes.